use nitrate too much because it's highly flammable. Butyrate is available, and it makes a beautiful system. It's labor intensive. It's got a lot of coats of this, a lot of coats of that, a lot of polishing but you can do it. And if you're a purist and you want to go with cotton, have at it. I don't use it anymore. I've used it on one airplane. It's a little too labor intensive for me. So the newer fabrics, we call them Seconite, we call them Stitz, we call them Superflight. There's nothing more than Dacron. It's all Dacron. It's made by Pietenpol, and it was made for sailboat sailcloth. And they found out that it works really good on aircraft. And so the processes went through the process they do, and they came up with STCs for a lot of aircraft. I've got some samples here, but all that Dacron is made for, it comes out of the DuPont factory in little beads. And you put it in a tank car, and they sell it to different mills. And they extrude it just like monofilament fishing line. And they make different fabrics out of it. And it goes to Seconite, and they put a PMA on it, Seconite. Then it goes to Stitz, and they put polyfiber. Superflight uses Seconite. The Stewart system uses Seconite. But I have a couple of examples for you here. There's different weights of this Dacron. You can buy the certified stuff from aircraft sprues or wigs, or you can buy the generic Dacron at half the price. So that may help. It's the same stuff, I promise you. An example here. You have to look at the grades of it. Here's a good grade. This is a medium grade, 102. This is a heavy grade. You can see the weave. I'll pass it around. Do you need the heavy grade? No. Even the B-17 was recovered 2 months ago at my airport, and they used medium grade on it. You don't need it. If you're going to use a crop duster, which they're usually aluminum nowadays, you'd probably want to use the heavy grade. But the medium grade is fine. So Dacron or Stitz, polyfiber, or Seconite, whatever you want to buy. You can buy it from aircraft sprues in a roll Dacron.
Where would you get the Dacron?
From aircraft sprues.
And that's just what it's called.
It's called Dacron covering. Yeah, and it is half the price. Same stuff. Aircraft sprue. The Dacron is half the price. Yeah. Yeah. This is all Dacron here. I don't have any of it that's stamped.
Would you consider using the lightweight Dacron on a Pietenpol or no?
No, I would not, but I would only use the lightweight tapes. Make sure you use the lightweight tapes. Why? Because you don't need the medium grade on the tapes, because the lightweight tapes are adhered better, they don't pucker as well, and they're easy to go around the curve surfaces. You don't need the medium grade on the tapes. You really don't.
Why wouldn't you use the lightweight fabric on a Pietenpol?
Sir?
Why wouldn't you use the lightweight fabric on a Pietenpol?
You can if you want to. You certainly can.
What would be your reason for not doing it?
Because when I look out at the wing on the other aircraft that I've put lightweight fabric on, I see it billowing up a little more than I like. If you like it, you can certainly use it. A Pietenpol would be great for a lightweight fabric. Most of that is used in ultralights. It's your choice. So that's what I said. I want to give you the choice to make your own decision.
Okay, you talk about wing loading and DNE for the cutoff for lightweight tires.
2.9 PSI is certified medium. In the lightweight, I cannot find a number on it. Pardon?
As I read somewhere, it was like 1.8.
That sounds a little light.
Yeah.
A lot of the light stuff is designed for over the top of plywood.
Yeah,
Not really people.
I have done that before, used a lightweight fabric on top of wood. You can do that. But certainly lightweight fabric on feet would be fine with me. I'm going to choose to use medium. It's not that much difference. The weight, a cub done with stitched polyfiber is going to weigh 45 pounds when you're all said and done, painted and everything, 45 pounds. Stewart system is going to be a little bit heavier, probably 5 pounds heavier. High pec, about the same. You use less of high pec than I would. But for cub, polyfiber, about 45 pounds. So your fabric, and the difference between lightweight and medium is not going to be that much. Maybe a pound, 2 pounds at most. I don't know. Sir?
I'm leaning towards Stewart systems because of avoiding the harsh chemicals. How does that weigh into the choice between the medium or the light fabric, or doesn't it?
How does it weigh in?
Yes. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'll talk about Stewart system in a minute. So, I guess we can start now. I made a few notes so I didn't get there are different processes, of course. The difference between urethane, polyurethane, and vinyl is negligible. Urethane, of course, is carbonic acid, and polyurethane is a derivative. They're all a bunch of carbon atoms lined up on a chain, and they're different, very slightly different. Vinyl, however, is organic. Vinyl is just a little bit different pre-decay. I'll talk a little bit about that. There are 2 methods to use in the fabric covering. You can use an envelope if you want. It's already pre-stitched. I've used those on a cub and a champ. Don't like them. The reason being is because they're stitched together and I can't ever get, you never can get that thing lined up parallel to the rib. And it never comes out on the rib. It's always in between. You're going to see it stitched together. Yeah. It doesn't look. There's no reason to use an envelope. There really isn't. Especially with the glues we use today, you don't need an envelope. Use the blanket method. Glue it up. Put a tape over it. It looks great. Works wonderful. Lasts a long time. But again, that's your choice. For curved surfaces, this is not bias. Everybody knows what a bias cut piece of tape is. Wonderful idea. This is weaved like this. Bias is weaved like so. And when you put it around a curved surface, you pull it, it'll shrink around the surface, where this one won't. To a degree, this one will, but not as good as bias. I wanted to make sure to tell you today, if you're using bias material around a curved surface, if I'm using this 4-inch around, you're going to wind up with about that much. But if you're using bias, you're going to lose an inch. You're going to lose 30%. So here's what I do on a wing. I use this 4-inch on the edge, and I'd order 5-inch bias. Use 1-inch more, and then when you put it on the surface, clamp it really tight. Do not put glue on the edge, and pull it, and that sucker will smooth all the way around the bend, such as the wingtip or trailing edge. It works great. But you have to be careful because it's not going to be the same size. You have to be careful and practice. Get a little experience and you can get them the same size. The alternative is to cut little V's in here as you go and glue it. You can do that, or it will shrink a little bit. And that's a technique, and some of these processors will show you this technique where you glue the edge, you glue it all the way around the edge, like so. You get a little piece of cardboard, you put it under there, and you get a little iron, and you start shrinking a little bit at a time. And you shrink the outer edge, and then eventually get into shrinking the inner part a little bit. So it's a technique, and these different process manuals will show you that technique. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, just on the different processes. I think that's what you want to know about. Some of you want to rib stitch your aircraft, and there's a chart that shows you how many rib stitch per inch to do. In a Pitts, it's 1 inch. In a Pietenpol, I think it's 2.5 or 3, depending on whether it's in the prop glass or not. Somebody, I don't remember. I think it's 3. It doesn't matter. You'll go into the chart in your rib stitching manual, and it'll show you. And this is a piece of reinforcing tape that after you put the fabric on the aircraft and you got it shrinked up, then you'll put this reinforcing tape on top of the rib, and on top of the fabric. It's got a little adhesive in it. And then that's what you'll rib stitch over. You'll get your long needles, and you'll learn how to rib stitch. And there's basically 2 methods. One that's hidden, which is a little more difficult, and one that's not hidden, which a lot of purists want to have. You want to see the knot, rib stitching material lined up right along the rib. They look kind of nice. Pietenpol, does it make any difference? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe. But if you use a hidden rib stitch, it's just a little more complicated, where you will use the same needles and you'll stitch through the wing, back up, you tie your knot, and then the method is that you kind of push the knot down into the wing or the tail surface. And so the knot is hidden. And then you use your needle to go in the fabric underneath it and up out of the next hole. So the whole stitching process is hidden except the part that goes over the rib. Does it help? I don't know. That's your choice. So that technique will be outlined in, it's in polyfiber, and it's on the internet. EAA has got several websites about doing that rib stitching process. So you want to know about the different systems. We'll start with Stitz polyfiber, the first. Ray Stitz started this years ago, and it's probably one of the first one. There's some rib stitching for it, by the way. Wax. No big deal. Polyfiber is all nylon, and it's probably the oldest method that we've got for working with Stitz polyfiber dacron, Seconite. I'm suspecting around 1965, something like that. But it's been around a long time. Hasn't changed. It's a good system. It uses a lot of volatile compounds, and I'm told that that's what happened to my brain. I breathe so much of it. I think they may be right. It's not pleasant to me to smell, and you may want to be careful using it. The glue is I use lacquer thinner, use acetone. Those are pretty volatile compounds. Again, the polyfiber process is about 45 pounds, and it takes a total of about 8 coats of processed material. So you use the glue, and just like when you're making your model airplane, you'll glue the fabric up and you put it on it, and you put your hands in there, and it's going to get all over your hands. You're going to start feeling a little good after a closed space. But it's very easy to use. And the good thing about polyfiber, it's very easy to repair. I mean, some of these other processes, very difficult. Very difficult. Some of these paints won't. You can rub on them and they're not going to move. But it has the first coat is called poly brush, and it's a kind of a pink unless they change color. After you get your fabric on and shrunk up, I'll tell you about shrinking in a minute. After you put it on, you brush it on with a big brush. That's the first coat. Then you want to spray 2 more coats of poly brush. And you need to be wearing some good respirator so you can breathe some good air. My daughter's a chemical engineer. She says the mask they use at the chemical plant is one you can buy at Lowe's or Home Depot, and it has the charcoal in it. That's pretty good. Some people say you need a fresh air respirator. She says no, not unless you're going to be in there all day. So a good respirator is what you need. So you spray the 2 coats of poly brush, and then you're going to spray 3 coats of silver. So you're up to 5 coats of spray now. And that's a considerable amount. So now after you sand it, you're going to wet sand it or not. You're going to need to sand it. You're going to need to sand it and clean it. Then you're going to spray on at least 2 coats of color. There's 2 kinds of color you can use with Stitz polyfiber. Basically, polytone is all vinyl, and it's called aerothane, which is a polyurethane paint. The polytone is really, really good. It's so easy to work with. It's easy to repair. You don't have to have such a sterile, clean surface as you do with some other processes. But it's not a shiny, ultra gloss color like aerothane is. Aerothane is a good paint, and it also will blend, but not as good as the polytone will. It's a nice satin process paint, and I think you'll like it if you use it. But if you want the high gloss, you're going to have to go to aerothane. And that's about all I want to talk about with Stitz. Do you have any questions on the Stitz process? Yeah.
Now that Stitz has bought Ranthane, I know that some people prefer Ranthane over the aerothane. So you have 2 things to consider. So you can do polytone.
Ranthane is not produced by Stitz polyfiber.
They own them now.
Well, it's under the Randolph stuff, so I'm sure they own it, but I don't know. It depends on what your STC. If you got an STC and you want to use a Ranthane, you can use it with experimental. That's the beauty part. You can do whatever you want to. So if you prefer that, I'm not telling you one's better than the other. You know, just give you enough knowledge to make your own decision. It's all good stuff. It really is. Pull out your pocketbook and see how much you want to spend on it. I'll tell you what's really good now. People are using it. House paint. Latex. It's good stuff. It's not STC. There are guys that have been using it on the Pietenpol, and it is beautiful. You can roll it. You can buff it to a shiny, beautiful polish. You can spray it. I think we had an issue of the Pietenpol news last time before last about some latex. So there's that option if you're experimental. If you're not, the STC, you got to stay with the same process. You had a question, sir?
With the stick system, you ever use the steward clearing area?
I don't know why you couldn't. I don't know why you couldn't. That Stewart glue is awfully good stuff, which I can talk about now. Years ago, when Bob Stewart owned the process called AFS, and it's been around since, what, 1997? But he started his process, Aircraft Finishing Systems. Now it's Stewart Systems. And I used it very early on actually on a Griego, GN1. And I was out there the first time and I'm playing with that glue and I paint this stuff on here just like you do it. Stitz. I paint it on there, put that fabric on there and he's sticking nothing. Pull that thing off and there's no glue there. So I'm on the phone and I'm calling Stewart. Wow, what kind of deal is this you got here? This glue is not working. He says, how are you using that? I told him, he says, you dummy. You're not supposed to use it that way. This is different kind of glue. One of the best glues I've ever used. It's great. It's a green, or it can be a beige now. They've got a beige color. So the inside of the fabric can be green, or inside can be beige. So you have to work a little head when you're using Stewart's system for the glue. The Echo Bond is what it's called. You buy it in quarts, you buy it in big cans. It's a little more expensive than the Stitz, but you use less of it. It's not water-based, it's water-borne. There is a big difference. It's not latex paint, it is catalyzed paint. It is water-borne. Water's the carrier. When that water starts to evaporate from the solution, you better be ready. You're not going to get it off your hands either. You have to rub it off. It's very, very good glue. So you work it a little head, you paint it, thin coat, put the fabric on top of it after it's almost dry, and it's kind of like contact. It'll stick right there. Then you take a little brush with the glue, you brush through the tape or the fabric, let it alone. You come back in a while and that stuff is stuck. The next day you will not be able to pull it off. And there's different ways, techniques that you can learn to attach the fabric and the tape to the Stewart system. The beauty part about the Stewart system in the Echo Bond is when you put this on your aircraft, you take paper towel, you wipe it off. Very little sanding. Very little sanding. So then, say you've got a tape already established on your wing, and you put one coat of the Echo Bond on it. I'm going to come back and put another little coat on it. Then I'm going to let it dry, and I'm going to take my little iron, which I'll talk to you a little bit about, and I'm going to turn that thing up to about 350 degrees. As high as it'll go sometimes with a little modeling iron. And I'm going to take the edge, and I'm going to go right down this pink edge with the tip of that iron, and I'm going to kind of melt it into the other fabric. No sanding whatsoever. It's just a technique. I mentioned it. It doesn't tell you about doing that covering system. It's just a technique. But what I wanted to impart to you is there's very little sanding with the Stewart system. It goes on well, but it goes on differently than stitch and superflake. It's a whole lot different process. It is waterborne, and you can use a little water to get it off your hands up to a point. When it gets past that point, you're not going to get it off.
Someone commented, I think online, they said,
I don't know.
and they gave a number, and I thought, you know, back at all, I wondered if you were aware of.
No, sir, I'm not.
run 30.
I do not know.
Yeah.
The guy will probably be at Oshkosh.
I said,
No. That gives that form on that latex paint.
Latex is good stuff. I really do. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I'm going to find
Talk
out.
about the shelf life. I know like the polyfiber has like a weird shelf
There
life.
is a shelf life, yes, there is a shelf life, especially if you keep it in a warm environment. I keep mine inside in the air conditioning and cool circulation. Who is he for? Is he for Stewart?
He's the only, he does all latex. He'll have a
Oh, that's Wiener Dog?
Yeah.
Yeah. He does some good stuff.
He shows on the internet.
Oh, you're talking about latex?
Yeah.
Yeah. The latex does pop up real nice.
Yeah, he was talking about that last year.
Maybe like
You can get it in clear or you can get it in green.
The next thing you're going to consider after you get all the fabric shrunk, Ecobond, they used to have a process where you would take the Ecobond and thin it with water and then paint it on the fabric itself. Their new STC says you don't have to do that. They say that the Eco Fill, which is the charcoal, you can put that directly on the fabric, and that's sufficient. So the next process is the Eco Fill, which is a clean charcoal, and it is a very heavy solid. The deal is, before you use it, you've got to get, I use a mechanical stirrer, and I put it down in the bottom of that can with the drill, and I stir that stuff up without making it foam, as little as possible. Because all those solids are going to be on the bottom of that thing. If you let it sit for 15, 20 minutes, you better stir it up again. Eco Fill, charcoal. So what I have done in the past, I never spray it on my stuff. I've sprayed it on other people's. I roll it on. A little 4-inch foam roller, roll it this way, wait 10 minutes, roll it this way, wait another 10 minutes till it's almost dry to the touch, roll it a third time this way. That's it. Then you're ready for color. If you want to do it that way, or you can spray it. You can spray it. The problem with the Stewart system, Eco Fill, and their paints too, is that it likes to bubble. It likes to foam. So you have to be careful with it. You have to be patient too. So if you're going to spray it, you have to have the right PSI on your gun, the right amount of air. Light coat. Wait 10 or 15 minutes, then come back with another lighter coat, and then the final coat. The Stewart system likes a mist coat. A mist coat for the first one. Second one a little more, third one, good coat. So then we're up to the color coat. It's a pure polyurethane. It's called Eco Poly. I want to like it. I really do. It's probably me. I like to think I can paint, but their paint is difficult for me to use. One reason I think is my climate. I'm in a very hot climate. 102 when I left yesterday. 97% humidity is all. He likes it. it's hot. Paint doesn't like that. Love this atmosphere here. The Stewart system, Echo Poly, has got the surface has got to be clean, 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 clean. They've got a cleaner that they sell you. Wipe it, wash it before you put the Echo Poly on it. I have rolled a complete airplane with Echo Poly. This group out of Kansas City, the Dawn Patrol, you might know what I'm talking about. They're a high user of the rolling and tipping. It works pretty good. The one airplane I did with it, just a little bit of orange peel, not much. But as the days wore on, it got better and better and better. And I think if it had been a nice, cool climate, there wouldn't have been anything. This Dawn Patrol bunch, they said it's as good as they say it's as good as spray. I don't know about that, but it's an option for you to choose. That's the beauty part. You get to choose. It's a little bit heavier than the others. A little bit heavier. It said 45 pounds for a cup. I don't know how much heavier. They don't tell you. At least 5 pounds heavier. I don't think it's much more than that. But the Stewart system is a little heavier. Here's what I've done. Up through the Echo Fill, I've used AirTech paint. Matter of fact, if you go to the AirTech website, my airplane's right there as it comes up. Big blue sky ball. AirTech paint. If you're going to use AirTech, don't plan on buffing it. It's not going to buff. 6 hours after that paint's on there, you're not going to move it. AirTech's good paint. Shines, lasts forever. But you also got the option, use a Stewart system, latex. I think this is a good deal, latex.
Where do you go with latex?
Part
How far do you go with the Stewart system before you
top,
go to latex?
on top of the Echo Fill, on top of the charcoal. When you're ready for color, use a latex. And I know there's some primers that people say you can use the latex primer on top of raw fabric. I don't know about that. I don't know. Don't stay away from that. A little bit heavier. Any questions on the Stewart system I haven't touched on? Sir?
Spar varnish is okay for under
Yes, sir. Spar varnish is fine for a Stewart system. That glue will not going to do anything to the spar varnish. Any kind of glue is compatible with Stewart systems. Waterborne. It's great.
If you had a home built and put pads on,
Yes, sir. I've done it. Works good. Nice long run. More questions on Stewart system? Somebody said the Stewart system was the only one. Know that for a fact, but I would hesitate that you do it. It's a benign system. Even their color paint smells a little like bananas. It's not bad. You can do it inside. I haven't sprayed it inside. I've sprayed it outside. What I say outside, not outside, like not in the workshop. I sprayed it in a paint. I consider that outside. It was okay, but like I said, I think it's my climate more than anything else. You need to have a cool climate. Yeah.
How much adhesive does it take to glue the fabric on?
How much adhesive? Yeah. I'd say 1.5 gallons. That's a guess. That's a pretty good guess. 1.5 gallons. You can buy it in quarts. Goes a long way. Really goes a long way. For stits, you're probably going to have at least 3 gallons a week. And AirTech about the same.
What's your favorite system?
I ain't gonna tell you.
That's probably more important than you think, guys.
Well, you know, I want to give you enough information to make your own judgment. I'll tell you, let me talk about this next one, and then I'll muddy the water. Hypec. Hypec comes out of Canada. Chris Falconer started this several years ago. Hypec is a system where they allow you to glue the fabric direct to the structure without rib stitching. My arthritis is so bad, I don't look forward to rib stitching a Sky Scout. I'm considering using the Hypec. There's a gentleman that had a light twin that had a faux pas with it, and he damaged it, so he called me to come fix it. Well, it's a STC aircraft, and it had to go back with Hypec. So I ordered some Hypec materials to repair his right half of his wing. I pulled that old fabric off. Very difficult. I used a knife to get out that fabric and scrape that fabric off of the ribs. Those were 1/4-inch ribs. But I scraped it off, but not easily. Couldn't just pull it. Hypec says this aircraft is STC for aerobatic aircraft. And their picture shows, they say the width of the rib is no big deal. 1/4-inch ribs, 1/2-inch ribs, it doesn't matter. That's what they say. Because the glue is applied through the fabric and it seeps down on the side of the rib and grabs it like this. It must work. It's got an STC for aerobatic aircraft. I've seen beautiful airplanes covered with Hypec. And I repaired this little light twin ultralight with Hypec. It did just fine. It just beautiful. I saw it the other day and I said, is that the airplane I worked on? I went over and looked at it. I couldn't tell before I repaired it. Not that I'm that good, it's just that the fabric, the process is good.
How do you spell that?
H-I-P-E-C. Hypec. On the internet, it doesn't have a very easily accessed informational website. Chris Falconer, or Falconer Air. Falconer Air, I think. Falconer, yeah, Falconer Air. I'll get it to you.
What kind of cost comparison to how you pay for that?
It's probably a little more. But the beauty thing about the Hypec is 3 coats. That's all you need. They've got the fabric itself, when you put it on the structure, they call it glue, G-L-O-O, glue. So you put that on just like you would Stitz or AirTech. Put this glue on, glue the fabric on. Then you do the shrinking. Then you come on with what's called, they call it, well, let me back up. Before you put the fabric on, you need to coat your ribs. Who's that asked me a while ago about something about varnish? Varnish on ribs. You need to cover that varnish with some of their Hypec clear. That enables you to use the sun blocker, which is the solution applied through the fabric that adheres to the ribs. Sun blocker. You apply this sun blocker, roll it on, 1 coat. Your fabric is glued to your ribs now. And that's it. No rib stitching, no rib tapes. Of course you have the tapes around the edges. No needles going up and down and in and out, tying strings. And
Sounds like you're relying on the varnish sticking to the ribs. You're gluing to the varnish and the varnish is
the
ribs.
Hypec clear is coated to the ribs on top of your varnish
On
probably.
top of the varnish, right? So you have varnish.
And then the sun blocker seeps through and grabs hold of the ribs. sunblock. That's your UV and your glue all at one time. That's all there is to it. No. No. I guess you could if you want to. Don't need to, according to their STC. I see an aerobatic air plane's covered with it. Now think about it. If you've got a rib and you've got it stitched every 3 inches, that fabric is attached to the rib every 3 inches. You've got high-pack glue on there, it's attached to the entire length of the rib. Can you rip it off? Yeah, you can rip it off. You can also take a knife and cut the strings if you want to on a rip stick. But I've used it. Works good. Seems to last a long time. Your benign federal government says it's STC. It's up to you. Me, I'm still maybe going to use it. Better steward system. I don't think so. I don't think so, because I think the clear high-pack top coat is compatible with that sun blocker, which is a glue. And I don't know enough about it to mix it. I would stay with it because you're only using 3 coats. Yeah. 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 Well, very few people have used it here, and I'll tell you one reason I think. You and I have been doing this a long time, and I'm used to putting a rib stitch in there. I don't know if I want to trust this new stuff. Why not? All the scientific tests on it prove it works. Are you going to use it? I don't know. It's up to you. Investigate it, look at it, see what you think. Might be good. If your hands are like mine, you might consider doing something without rib stitches. And again, they say that the ribs don't, the size of the ribs doesn't matter. You can't hurt, can't hoik. Half-inch ribs on a peak, better than a quarter-inch ribs on a pits. Any questions on the high pack? I know there's one gentleman who wanted to know about it before the floor.
One thing about it, from my standpoint, I don't use the ribs.
That's true.
I mean, and they
They
will.
We don't have any mice in Texas. Got rats about that.
Harder for them to hit. Cattle.
I've seen cattle eat fabric on airplanes. Did you see that airplane in Alaska where the bear got to? They took duct tape and they duct taped that thing. I must have been duct taping for 2 days.
100-mile-an-hour tape, we call it.
There you go.
So on the last system, we got the glue and the third coat over after the printing. Then what do you use? Silver or?
A high pack
Yeah.
sun blocker. The sun blocker is the UV coating and the glue. It's all in one.
Third product.
Yeah, that's their product.
Are they a direct dealer or do you get it from them with a third product supplier?
No, they're direct dealer out of Canada. Check their website out. Give you maybe a little more information than I've given you. Chris Falconer's a guy named. Any more questions on the high pack? I don't know much more. AirTech. AirTech is very similar to the stitch process, stitch polyfiber. Like I said, I've used their paint. My airplane's on their big website. I like that. I think it's kind of neat. Open it up and let me see my plane there. With AirTech, the glue comes in cans like so, and you have to reduce it 50% before you start brushing it on your fabric, on your frame. And again, you need a mask, or otherwise you start to feel real good. You come dancing out of your workshop later on. So you get 2 thin coats of that glue over the tape, thin it, put your tapes on, glue it on, 2 more thin coats over the tape, and then you can put a primer filler coat just like you do Stitz polyfiber. Very similar process. The guy just bought this. His name is Robbie. I can't remember his last name. Out of Jacksonville, Arkansas. Very easy to work with. And what he is producing now is an all-encompassing CD. So that you can pop this thing in and you can see every bit of installation procedures that they use. And it's very good. Airtech Coating, Jacksonville, Arkansas. And their paint is so hard. Honest to goodness, it is really good stuff. But flexible. Just brilliant colors. I think you'll like their colors. But don't plan on blending it, and don't plan on repairing it. Because if you put a repair on it, spray a little bit, you're going to get some overspray, and that overspray is going to stay there. You're not going to blend it in, I promise you. So it's kind of hard to work with for repairs. All you need is 2 color coats on the Airtech, by the way. Super Flight. I don't know if anybody wants to know about Super Flight. It's just about the same as Airtech. I know one thing: the paint is compatible with the silver is compatible with latex. I know people that put latex on top of the Super Flight. But it's just about like Airtech and Stitz polyfiber. Not a whole lot of difference. Depends on what you want to buy. But again, if you're experimental, you put their silver on, and you want to come on with PPG Delta, which is hopefully a good paint for on top of Stewart system or Super Flight, you can use that. PPG is a very good aircraft paint. PPG Delta. B-17 is just painted with PPG. You can also roll it and tip it. I don't know how many of you tried rolling and tipping. It's kind of a neat process. But again, it's like I said earlier, it's temperature dependent. It needs to be cool. With the Stewart system, you can add a little bit of water to the color. You can thin it out, roll it, and it'll flow out a little easier. That's another secret when you're using the roller, the rolling tip. If you're going to tip, I would suggest not using a foam brush, but using a very, very high quality fine tip bristle brush for rolling and tipping. It seems to flow out better and you don't get the edge marks of the foam brush. There's one other system that I'm not going to talk to you about Razorback because I don't know anything about it. It's, like I said earlier, it's a thin fiberglass cloth and they use butyrate dope. So you know everything I know. The Oratex I've used. I don't know how many of you have heard of Oratex. I do not know. It came from Germany. German. And it is very good. If I was a bush plane operator in Alaska, I'd have it on every one of my airplanes. Because if you damage it, you're done. That's all there is to it. It's already colored. That's recolored. Yeah, it's already colored. It's already glued. Got glue on it. Put the iron on it. I'll say this about the Oratex. It is very, very tough. It is very intricate to install the tapes I'm talking about. Because if you overheat one part, it's already painted. You're going to have to start all over again and rip that stuff off. Quite honestly, the glue on it, it's not like Stewart system glue. You can pull that stuff. It's good. Vortex is good, but it's a little bit more labor intensive to install because it is a delicate operation putting the tapes on because you don't want to over shrink them. Once you put the iron on there, that glue is activated and it's done. No more. No more. No more filler, no more paint, unless you want to. And that's the beauty part about it too. You can paint it. Yep. That's it. And I've used it, and it's great. I don't know how they make it so tough. I don't know if they've got some carbon fiber mixed in with that Dacron or not. I don't know, but it comes already colored. I saw one airplane before I started on this one, and honestly, it didn't look very good. But when I started doing it, it went on pretty good. It was a Rand's S7. You know what that is? It's a nice looking airplane. But,
Is it lighter than the H1?
yes, it's lighter.
How much?
I'd say probably a third. I don't know that for sure, I'm just guessing. But the beauty part of the Ortex, the beauty part is that repairs are easy. That's why I started out saying if I was a bush plane operator in Alaska, because you damage those airplanes. It's easy to repair. Just cut it out, cut a new patch, put it on there with an iron, and it's done. Polyfiber, polytone is very easy. Very easy. That's probably the second easiest one. Stewart system, a little bit more. It's got a lot of sand when you prepare the Stewart system, but you got to get the color off, get down to echo fill. Vortex. Vortex? Yeah, Vortex. I don't think so, but I don't know for sure. I know I rib stitched the Rands. I don't see how that could be. I really don't know. But I'm just trying to give you a little insight. It's a little lighter weight, but I'll tell you, it's more expensive. Get your pocketbook out, you're gonna pay for it. At least 50% more than any of the other systems.
But you don't have to pay for it then.
You don't, I'm talking about that too. It's expensive. A Cub's gonna cost you about $4,000, $4,500 to do everything. The Ortex is gonna cost you $7,000. I know that for a fact. But it's good.
That's the material.
Everything. Yeah, that's for Ortex. Already painted. Not installed. Not installed. I haven't talked to you about the shrinking of the fabric. This DuPont company, when they made this, they found out it's going to shrink and you can use it for airplanes, right? So Seaconite, Stiff, all the time. On the inside of your uniform coat, your dress coat, Dacron. So in order to shrink this stuff up to use it on airplanes, each system gives you about the same degree of temperature to use, to shrink it. 290, 250 to 290. I set it about 250. To do an initial shrink job, that's the, once you've got the fabric on the wing or fuselage or whatever, use your iron, regular. Don't take your wife's iron. She's going to get mad. And if you sneak it out, she's going to know it. So get you an iron, and before you start shrinking, you need to put some marks on it for some different temperatures. Go to Home Depot, get you a nice iron. And when you set it at a temperature, it's like an air conditioner. It's going to run up to a point, it's going to stop. It's going to run up to a point, it's going to stop. It's going to fluctuate. So you're going to be ironing with this thing set at a certain temperature, and all of a sudden that iron's going to cool. You're still ironing, and it's going to heat up again. So there's a temperature degree in there that iron is going to work. And you're going to stop it at its top point. So you're going to make some marks about anywhere from 250 to 290, about 310, and then 350. That is a very, very important temperature, 350 degrees. Why? Because if it's much more than that, your iron's going to go right through the floor. And I've done it. I was doing a sitar for a preacher. And I'm in there, he's coming in, he's looking at this, and I'm just talking and talking. And I had the iron set a little too far, and it went, I swear I didn't swear. So thank goodness it was right in the middle of a wing panel. It was already rib stitched. It's already rib stitched. So all I did was I cut around the panel with my scissors, and I started right there where the rib stitch was. And I pulled off that tape with difficulty. And I put another panel right up to the edge, glued it with, this was with Airtech. And I glued it, kind of put another tape on it. Couldn't tell it. Once it was painted, you couldn't tell it. But I guarantee you that iron went right through in a New York second. So set your temperatures somewhere below 290, around 310, and at 350. The reason you need to get it at 350 is because you need to set this Dacron fabric. Because if you don't get it to that temperature, it's going to sag on you. But once you get it to 350, it's stabilized, it's set. It's not going to sag. But if you get it up past 375, 390 to 400, I'll guarantee you, you're going to have a hole in it. But you've got to get it to 350. And when you do, you're ironing it, you can see some vapor coming out of the fabric. It actually, a little steam coming. And I can smell it. I can smell it when it's just right. But you'll see. Well, how do you calibrate this iron? After you've gone to the Home Depot and bought an iron and not used your wife's iron, I guarantee she'll get mad at you. Ask me how I know. Get you a thin piece of cardboard, fold it in half. You've got a thermometer. Get you an oven thermometer or something with some high temperature on it. Put it in there. Put it like this. Put it down on a wooden surface. Turn that iron on. Set it to a certain temperature and let it sit there. It's going to get hot, and you're going to see, and you can hear when the iron turns off. From the light to come on and turn off. Set it. You want to set it about 290 the first time. Put your little mark on the iron there. When you want it a little hotter, turn that rheostat up and watch it. Where it comes on, where it comes off. And when it gets up to about 310 or so, put you another little mark. And then the last time, 350, very, very important, 350. Make sure it goes to 350, but not any higher. I don't know. Put that little mark in there. So you're going to be, when you get that mark set at 350 and that iron's going to fluctuate back and forth, that's why we want you to do it several times, because you might hit a place here and that iron is fluctuating, it goes down to 330. That's why you come back and do it again and again. Make sure that fabric is set at 350 so that it does not sag when you're finished. Yes. No, there's no limit. If it's set at 350, you can put that iron right there and walk away. nothing will happen. Unless it gets too hot. But that's true. It won't happen. Ooh, drag a little backward. Looks like a little tube. That's all I have on the ironing. We can talk about questions on any system now. Anything I missed? Anything you want to talk about? Sir.
Well, when you regulate your iron, what about one of those? Also on my laser.
Sure. Why not? Yeah, that would work. I put one on the back of my hanger not long ago, 160 degrees.
Just a question, I've seen latex used and I've heard of that. I get concerned about color fastness for conventional latex. So is there recommended manufacturer? And part two of the question is, why don't you hear more about automotive paints being fabrics?
Because automotive pigments are not flexible. They're very hard, they'll crack. There are some flex agents that you used to buy, I don't know. But PPG Delta is an excellent thing. You do not have to add flex agents to.
Your system's will stick to polyurethane, won't it?
Yes, sir.
And it'll also stick to varnish?
It'll stick to anything.
Good, that kind of narrows it down.
It's good. It's good stuff. But you have to learn how to use it.
Right.
About 290, something below 290, 260, 290, 310, 350. That'll give you these temperatures in your various processes.
What about repairs?
I haven't used a lot of it, but I think it'd be pretty easy. I think there's a fella here, who was that in that, in the last year, the time before Brodhead Pietenpol Association newsletter, that showed a wheel. Was that, I think his name was Oscar? I like the idea.
It looks good. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but it's sitting out there, blue,
Yeah.
orange flag.
I don't know why. It works good on my house. It's been on there a long time. Tornadoes and hurricanes come through and it's still there. And I know one thing you can do with you can't do with latex paint. You can't get it off. You can take strip it and put it on there. It's not going to budge it. There you go.
Because it's rubber. And when you try to blast it, it's layer of erosion to sand.
I don't know why you would use it, and I'm going to use it on this skyscraper. Incidentally, I came up here for one purpose, not one purpose only, do this too. I need help with my skyscraper, my Ford flange. I need that little propeller flange that attaches to that Ford crankcase. Somebody please help me with that, please. I know this fellow that Ken Perkins used to make it, but he passed away. If anybody knows, please let me know. Any more questions, sir?
Do you have a favorite, like Superflight or Polyfiber? Which one? You've done a
You're
few.
gonna make me angry, aren't you?
Well, no.
You want me to stay steward system?
Just an opinion. Just an opinion.
You want me to stay steward system?
But I'm looking for an opinion. We've done a few of them.
I'm not gonna say steward system.